Okay, this is my program called TabLordMaster. It's version 2.4. It's a 32-bit horizontal tablature editor. It edits in the center, and the output is to text, vertical or horizontal, whatever you prefer. Also, you can save your progress in a TLM file. It's a proprietary, just my own format. Don't edit this in the TLM files in anything but my program, or it'll corrupt the whole thing. Okay, a couple warnings. Do not resize the console window once this comes up. It should be 100 by 35. Also, the scroll lock, num lock, cap lock, quick edit mode, and insert mode need to be turned off. So that is all saved. And then if you go to File and Exit, it will set those back to whatever they were. You can do Control Q. That quits also, but it doesn't save your setting or your scroll locks or whatever. It doesn't put those back to the way they were. So, quick start. Okay, so I am going to close this and run it again. So this is the startup right here, where it saves the configuration, and you can get off to the races with the unknown TLM file if you've decided to save. So basically, we're going to work with Insert, Alt-A, C, and Tab, and Enter. So quickly, this is already set at guitar, but you would go pick your guitar configuration, bass, guitar, whatever, in this list. I'm just going to leave guitar and then hit the tab key. That will make a tab key the size of the minimum width in page width. So that is set. That can be changed, and you use your best text editor. Find out the maximum. Mine was 80, so I backed it off a couple characters. But whatever text editor you're using to print, that would be, back it off a little bit, and that would be the number. So whatever can print without taking this little section and making it look like junk, because the line was too long for print. So set that number. Alt-C, I made this to be good with one hand, so I did the Alt-A and C to create the tab. These are going to be measures or figures. So I'm going to hit the Insert key, and then I would just start as I go, just put in whatever, and then if I come to an endpoint or a new measure or figure, I would just go here, hit the Insert key to expand that so I can start putting in my tab. So it's that easy. I'm using the arrow keys up and down, left and right, and it's a more center-oriented tablature, which I find very useful because I need to know what I did before I start writing. So I need to see where I'm at. So this is a perfect editor, I do believe. So when you set a color, and these are the color options, you can see the caret. As I click inside here, left or right, it'll rapid move, and then it will draw your attention with the color and the cursor, so you know what you're editing. But as soon as you move or start entering stuff, that color column will disappear. For some people who need to know where they're at. But if that is distracting, just go to clean, and it won't show the color. You can just enter whatever. Alt-S, that puts a space, and you'll need that. And that is not any particular format. The space is kind of neutral. So here I would, if I wanted to add some other configuration, this would be the place to do it. Don't do it inside other tablature because that might mess up the whole format. So where am I at here? Oh, carriage return. When you hit the Enter key, it kind of looks like an Alt-C cut, but that really symbolizes like carriage return. It wraps around. So it'll go start at the beginning, jump 78 characters, wherever that is, and then it will work back until it finds somewhere to cut, and then that would kind of carry everything to the next line. So this is very important to make the tablature look how you want it to look. Otherwise, it would just utilize every single line, and that's okay too, if you want to save space for print. So we went into the page width. That's your barrier for your tab. I don't think I went through creating a chord. That's as easy as chord create. I hit it several times. And you can get everything in help file, I think. So it'll even have like a little sample of how I do the chords. These are the spacing in between, so you can put your tuning, whatever, your chord name, and that right there. I think I better tell you about the undo. So let me start over here. Let me delete this. Let's say I want to keep this as kind of a standard, or as I go, you can save the file, and then it will save your work as you go. That's a good one. But just in case you're trying something experimental, go to Edit, Save, and then that saves it in memory. So I'm going to create the chord again. So I created a couple, as you can see. So if I'm not happy with that, then I can go up to Edit and Restore, and that will restore it back to the way it was when I saved it. And that's only a one-shot deal. Maybe later I'll do more undos, but for right now, one is enough for me anyway. So I added something new. There is a chord finder. Find chord. So nothing available because there isn't a chord here, but it appears on the status bar right down here. So that is brand new with version 2.4. I went through that. Okay, now it's time for, like, if you're porting stuff over from like something you get off the web, like you want a quick start. Let's say we want to take a portion of this. We don't have to take the whole thing, but we can. Let's say with this, let me see. You have to make sure you get like 3 spaces above. Let me hit the, I think it's not Control Alt. I forget which. Yeah, Control Alt. So I want to take this section right here. So I'm going to copy that. And this is ACLPad, by the way. It's my preferred editor. It does special characters. The only one I found that does special characters, the odd special characters, the old DOS stuff. So we're going to make room for this because it will overwrite the top. So let me just show you what that looks like. So normally I would say, okay, however many characters this is, I'd do Alt Space to, let me just do that. Alt Space. So I'm going to make plenty of room for that. Then I'm going to go up to the very top here. Then I'm ready for the paste win. So there we go. That's how you paste from Windows. Now you can go up here for the console, edit, mark, and copy that out. But this also has a text output. So, but that's another way to take stuff from TLM to text. So that was a really good paste there from Windows. Of course, this does not have a format. So let me get into the, let me get into how to put the base format in here. So there's like 3 ways to select within inside TLM besides using the paste. Well, this is not involving the paste from Windows. So you can select and it goes by the coordinates, or there's this red bar here. If you click, it will start marking, but I'm going to use, well, maybe there's 4 ways. We will do, there's a middle click and there's a key, key combination, which I just changed with this new version. Let me use that one. Control and bracket. Oh, wait a minute. Not control. It's Alt bracket, I believe, maybe. Yeah, no. Okay. For some reason, it won't work. Okay, okay, here we go. It was left. I wonder if the control right works. Bracket. Yeah, that works. So this shows your selection. Now we have to bring the cursor. This is special. Usually we could go up, and let me show you that. We'll just go copy, and then we're going to put a duplicate here. So we're just going to go and use this paste. That will make another one, and this will show what was pasted. But what we want to do is we want to, since none of these have are set for base. Since we just pasted it, it doesn't know what this is, whether it's a 6-string, 8-string, 4-string bass. So that's why you select. Let me unselect this by just clicking down here. That unselects it. So we're going to go select this again. Instead of using the control brackets, we're going to use the middle click. So middle click button, then we're going to wrap it over here. And then we're going to middle click that. So this whole section is selected. So what we have to bring the cursor over to the very beginning somewhere in here. Now we can use a special key, and that's Control ? So what it's going to do is it's going to paste whatever current project you're at. So since we're in here, we're going to put 4-string bass first. So it knows, okay, that's what we're set on. Control question mark, and down here, project instrument profile formatted to base. So within the format, this is set for base. So I'm going to get rid of the selection here, and then I'm going to try to insert this base. So when I go to the guitar, it should be guitar. So that's how you can mix. And also, let me see, I think I went through the different pace. There's a rapid development. So once you get a figure done, you can say, okay, I want to label this like an intro. So I did a right click, and you can kind of use this. There's also, if you want to put any notes on the action that you're taking for a certain note, or just click out of it. So that's kind of a rapid. You can kind of put, like if lyrics go somewhere, you'll just put lyrics. Kind of a generic thing just to get the process going, and rapid putting, if you've got figures, if you've got guitar 1, guitar 2, label it with distortion, palm muting, that kind of thing to kind of help get your tab going real fast. Like I said, use ACLPad and also ASCII Art Editor. Those are really two good programs to, once you have the tab done, you can add backgrounds and then paste my tab on it. That is cool. An ACLPad for the special characters. Special characters, let me see, I'm going to hit this squiggly character and it will show a whole list. If you want to get really fancy with it, let's say we want to make this bar something, we will choose a real special odd character. Let's say this one. So as you can see, it added it. Now, let me see, I think it's Control minus or Alt minus. Yeah, Alt minus. Okay. That will put your format in there. So whenever the inner stays the same, but if you want to use special characters, that would be the way to do it. And always use the Alt with any special character. You want to kind of fancy it up. Feel free to do the Alt, and then it would just kind of do it in the format. So if you want to get fancy. All right, let's kind of clean this up a little bit. Put the formatting here. Okay, that's kind of how you add. That's paste. I think I went through the paste. And at any time, if you need help with these special key combinations, go to Output Help, and it will show you pretty much everything in here, what everything does. Just basically Alt kind of does the characters, adding columns or measures in special format or special character things, and then the Control, and then some of the designs for the tab that's possible to utilize everything to get all the information in, the lyrics, maybe special features that the guitar is doing. So you can either click or hit Escape. Okay, so we did the clipboard. There's even where you can paste like a single line. So let's say I wanted to paste this single line. So I'd hit Copy from a Windows text place. Let's go up here, and I think I'm not sure. So let me go to Help. And I believe let me just try something here. I think it's Control P or V. It's Control V, like on a normal Windows, copy, Control C, and then Control V. So I could use Control V, so I can paste it again down below, Control V. So that just does one line. If you have more than one line, it will just use the first line, and it won't paste anymore. If you wanted to use that, you'd have to do it as a block. Okay, clipboard. When saving your project to TML folder, it shows them at startup. So that's a kind of a quick way to start doing tablature and stuff. So let me start this over again. Let's say you've done a project, which I have done several. So I'm going to show you that startup. So this is when you create a TLM file, it will with your startup of your TLM, if it's in the tlm.exe folder, it will show all your projects, and it's a limit of 999. So you just use the down and up keys to select what you want. So we're going to pick this High Road Easy song I did for bass, hit enter, and bam, you can start re-entering or adding to a project. So the name is down here. The full name, if you click this, it will show the full name if it happens to be longer. This one only shows a certain length of characters. So if it's a real long name, you might not see it all, but if you click it, then it'll show it all here. So I think this one's locked. You can lock these, so you can't, once you're done with them, you can't save this anymore unless you go up here and do a key combination. I think it's Control U or L for unlock and lock. So that kind of guards you from messing something up you've already done. Of course, a lot of times I will use the yellow, where is it? Yellow, and then save the project with the yellow. So I know, okay, don't touch this, or I could do it in red, but basically this tells me this is done. Don't do anything more to it. You're just kind of looking to see, maybe you want to output it to text or whatever. But this is a preview. So I really haven't got into the preview because when you're just starting out, you need a certain amount of characters. And this number will be in the red if you don't have enough characters for the preview, but we have enough for this one. So real handy. I hit the Control squiggly line, and that will do although it doesn't want to do it now. Let me see if that worked. No. But normally this would do the preview with that. If you click Control P twice, it will do the preview, or Control O twice, it will do the preview, or just go to the toolbar and preview. Of course, it uses the page width, so you can play around with that. If the wrap text was off, it'd just be all one line in the text editor, and that would be impossible to print. So I left that in there. But yeah, if you were to change the page width, this line would move. Of course, you can see where I put the enter key and the special figure here to wrap everything around. Of course, if you've got a mixed tablature in there, like guitar and bass or 8-string or something weird, the color will be off, and the preview would only do like the bass, so it would cut stuff off. So in order for everything to show, you'd probably just have to do clean format, and that will print everything. There is a optimize, so any spaces in the output will be deleted. So if there's huge spaces in the preview, when you output it, it will kind of clean that up a little bit. But you might have to do your own cleanup if you have all the lines to print. There'll be plenty of empty spaces. So that's just kind of a trade-off for what I'm doing here. Okay, saving. Often save your work if you've come to a real good place, because this hasn't crashed on me yet, but if you go to file and exit, it will not give you a warning that you need to save your, that always nagged me. So you're going to have to do that on your own. You're going to have to make sure that you save it before you exit. So there's no warning there. You can rename your TLM file here. You can open from here. Usually it's best if you, like, here's a TLM file. I'm going to double click it and it will run and open it up. So I have two windows now. But that's really easy and handy to have. Of course, you'll have to have this installed for that functionality and the icons to work. And I'll get into that real soon here. But there's the preview. I'm just going to get out of this. Alt or Control Q to get out of it. Oh yeah, to open file. It will want you to drag a file in here. So we have to take the TLM. So this is High Road Easy, I believe. So let's do damaged. So we'll just drag it on there and it will insert the name and then we just enter. So that's another way to kind of open it. Kind of a funky way to drag and drop, but it works. So this is a whole other file with a whole other color scheme, and it's still this 4-string bass. But that's how you kind of open it. You can open it by just getting rid of this and running it again, and it'll show the list. But that's one good thing that this does. Let me get into, if you've done some projects and you want to not have the editor always come up with, you just want the new one. You don't want the ones that are settled, are locked. You can always put it in a folder. You just make a folder and drag it in there, and it will not show up when this starts up. But you can still run it. Just go to the folder and then double click on it, and then it will change directories. So you can, that's kind of a safe way to edit too. So just know that there's that. You can move the TLM files out of the main parent directory and still have access to it. Okay, so I need to go through the settings because to get it to look and act and edit correctly, these settings are real important. First, you need to install. There's an INF file, and then you right click, and there's instructions in there for Windows 7 on up to Windows 10. Windows 10 is a little bit different. You go to open and install script, INF install, something like that. But anyway, I have an icon library, and then it changes the tab to this icon. The TLM has its own kind of binary kind of look to it. Real nice. So you can use those from this icon library, but only if you install, and it installs to program files. So that's that. So the settings, it should always be, or I should say, to have it look like I have it look, I use raster fonts 8x12, and the layout is 100x35. Now, if you go and drag this to a different size, it's going to make this all gibberish, and I don't know if it'll even function. So once you have this set, I would leave it if you're going to be doing any kind of editing for any length of time. So I think I went how to do the install, set the STB, it sets the TLM file extension. Now, if you're curious, what the STB is, split tab, that's another program to basically, when you have a whole list of tab here, and this reaches and goes to the next page, that can be kind of annoying because it could cut your tab in half, depending on how you placed everything. So it doesn't care. So you could have half your tab on a different page. I recommend my free program called Split Tab. So what it will do is it'll take the tab file, text file, and then it will find a space in here. It'll start from the bottom of your page cutoff and work up to find the first empty space here, and then it will cut it off, or it'll make a page break signal or character. I think it's the male symbol, or the female symbol. Anyway, it makes a little page break there, and that's why I use AcclePad, not only for the characters, special characters that actually show up, but it will actually see the page break, and it'll actually, with this, it'll print to the next page. So AcclePad is a one-stop shop for my Tablature, TabLordMaster, because it handles everything. There's portable versions with what this is, and you can configure the color, that kind of thing, and it has the block things you can select, copy, and then paste with Windows Paste in here. So I think that is pretty much all. I really didn't go into some of the special characters. That should get you started. So I think I better leave it there. I hope this Tablature editor is great. If you have any suggestions, say like the actions, I just put everything in the kitchen sink. I'm not sure if some of these are right. I tried to add as much as I could. There's a little like artificial harmonics. There's a couple of them in there because I've seen people use them. So I just put everything in there. I might be able to add some features. If you want them added, just put them in the comments section. I'll try to look at them and see if I can add something. But there might be another update to this just because of some of when you first start it and making tab, the save, it does not automatically save when you first start out. So if you hit restore, sometimes it'll crash. So that's it for version 2.4. Of course, always use the help, and have a great time tabbing, and catch you later.